The second season of Atreyos, the leader of the speartons comic, starts off with some sort of a backstory sequence. We are brought into a world called Juggerton, a island or a group of islands, group of islands that resemble a shape of a juggernaut helmet. Then we are greeted with completely new characters, Lithium and Atreyos, both being completely made up by the original author Atreyos ID and 62. So, the backstory sequence is about Lithium and his new invention, the fusion matrix. And I love the shot after when the name of this sort of device is said. Then we cut into the sort of introduction of the Atreyos, the leader of the speartons, part 2. Fusions and the betrayal. And after that, the backstory sequence continues. So what do we know? The seemingly most important plot device, the fusion matrix, and two characters, Lithium and Atreyos. And towards the end of this sequence, we learn that Lithium and Atreyos did this sort of a kamikaze attack to kill V, the leader of the elementals, because all hope was lost and there is nothing else to do. Also, Troy does this little interruption in between the story, which I kinda didn't like at first, but then I got almost why they did it. But hey, it's just a minor inconvenience. And so the introduction sequence is over, and we do some sort of a recap sequence reflecting the legacy of the first part of the Atreyos, the leader of the speartons comic, where we even see Atreyos has his own statue built for himself, and it's really cool. It resembles the stand-in move, Atreyos' signature move, to be in fact, and it looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie. And then Dekimus does his little recap on what this means and who Atreyos was and what he did. Of course, this season expects you to have already watched the first season of the comic, but it's fine. It's fine little recap, and it really does bring a lot of respect for the original part of the comics. So after this great little recap, we are greeted with the main man of the comic, Atreyos. And right from the bat, we see that he has gotten a bit mature and a bit more honorable since the last season. Just give me the scene where he brings apples to the camp with the golden spearton. You can see that he has actually grown a bit more mature, and I believe just the dialogue in general has gotten more mature and albeit better compared to the first season. Not like there was anything wrong, but it was just a personal gripe that I thought I wish the dialogue could have been more mature. But that's just me, so I left it out from that bad review I made during the bad time of summer of mine. But alright, let's keep going. After Atreyos is again introduced into his own series, we cut into the scene where Decimus tells the same story to Atreyos and Atreyos there too, because those two are best friends. And we see Decimus holding a report about a ship seen from the last season's final battle's battlefield. And we are told it's from King Zarek, and that he sent it to us, and we have spotted this giant ship, in the battlefield. Alright. Then we got into the battlefield itself, and we see Ares getting necromanced back to life. But except he's actually just completely brought back to life. No undead marks, no decayed body or something. He's completely fine and back. But we see his other troops and other speartons get raised up, and they are decayed deads. And then they act like they are in trance. And we see some sort of hypnosis. And then we see that they are moving towards something or somewhere. And Ares, of course, starts to follow them because he doesn't know where they're going. And so we get the final shot of the ship Decimus talked about in his report being the shoreline of Inamorta. And now we start running into some problems, unfortunately. So, what is this ship and what it is doing? And a big problem I have with this scene is that it could have been built up more properly. Now, if we could have had some sort of a scene where a scout sees the ship and we got caught either to the scene where Ares gets brought back to life, or we see the scene for the next episode of this season and we see our supposed two main villains together, and they brought all the deads back to life. But we don't see them, it's just the report Decimus has. Alright. And then, when we are just told, yeah, it's this giant ship in the midst of our shoreline. What ship? Of course, we get to know what the ship is, and there's this sort of a mystery element to it. But then again, it's also just so out of nowhere. It's just not built up as well as it could have been. And it's a shame, because I thought it could have worked. What? What I hear you say? Oh, yes. Sure, you can make the argument that Atreyos IDN didn't want to show anything that's not too relevant to the story, but come on, this very important blood point, blood detail or something, where our supposed main villains embark on the island of Inamorta, and it's this rushed. So, this ship, alright, what does it hold? And that there we get is the better part of this scene. And even Ares is shocked about the ship he sees. So, it's an alright scene on its own. But my point still stands, it could have been built up a lot better. But
Here still from the editing, there's some point I left unchecked. So, how smart this scene actually is. So yeah, it's not built up in the most subtle way, but then again, it's here to reveal us our supposed main villains of the season. And with them, this scene does actually a really good job. Because we only see what the other one's silhouette, and we get to see how powerful they are. Like the big ship they have just screams presence and power. And the fact we don't see we only see their silhouettes here. If that's for the actual reveal who they are, it brings there a lot more attention. So there's that. Let's move on.
No, not too bad. That's alright. And so, a conclusion for this episode. 8 out of 10. Good start, good reflection, and of course, a good introduction sequence, which gives us everything we want to know and what we need to know. And we're basically just right on board when we should. Some small problems here and there, but not anything too major. Alright. Now if you're here just for the review, I suggest you leave now. But if you have more time on your sleeve, if you still have something else to listen, then go ahead and stay here. So this is again getting a bit more personal, but I'm trying to explain in my next video about this. But well, my life has just been a bit more hectic than expected, and that is why I have been away from here for now. And the ironic part is, it was pretty much the same from summer. During summer. And well, I'm still ashamed of that time. And during those days I made my first review about this comic's first part. It was more like a character analysis, to be exact. But still, it was very bad and rushed, because what else I was bad at the time. But it's over, no self-pity anymore. And since my channel has been pumped up with stick war adrenaline for a while, at least my own life has been not like this channel. But back on point. I'm starting that I have made some plans on making a full-fledged review over this whole series once again. I'm not gonna repeat the first season of the comic. I've already done that, even when it's not really all that good of a review, but I don't care anymore. So I'm gonna do this very episodic, episode per episode type reviews. And towards the end, I'll give the pros and cons of the episode and the final verdict of it. And I guess when we get into the finale of the comic, then I do some sort of a complete overhaul. Like, you know, the final verdict, the whole picture, whole type thing. But that's all I've got for now.